Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. I have been getting inundated with this question over, well, a long time, but just recently, just so many people contacting me. And I've talked about it in many videos, but I just feel this is on my heart to share with you because so many people are struggling with it. Finding preppers, finding people to network with. It's so important. People do not have a network of preppers. Some people are by themselves and they want other people maybe to come to their location for security. And I think people are spinning the wheels and not doing as much as they should be. Yes, you need to find like-minded people that are prepping, but you also need to just look for good-hearted people that believe what you believe in. Yeah, they might not be prepping, not putting back, but they are going to be a friend. You're going to need as many friends as you can for what's coming down the road. So what do? I'm talking to you that's just stuck because you can't find a group and you're sort of wasting time. You need to change your mindset and move in this direction. So you can't find a prepper. Well, you need to start looking at family, at friends, maybe even your kids that have moved out of the house and live by themselves. You need to get started to prepare for having people come to your property. They might not be preppers, but you will want them. You'll want them for strong backs, strong minds, helping you out. And I'm not talking about SHTF. I truly believe economically is where we're going. We're going into a Great Depression. The dollar could collapse. So that's what I want you to prepare for. Yeah, you know, zombies coming over the wire is cool, but I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe later into a Great Depression there'll be a very huge increase of destabilization, which I can see that. But right now let's concentrate on just the economic point of it. And the biggest thing is get out of debt. Do whatever you can to sell stuff, get stuff. It's the weekend coming up. Look through your stuff. What stuff I do not need in life. It's not a tool. It's not something I use around the homestead or even around your property. I talk so much about your homestead. Probably 90% of you guys don't have really a homestead. You live in the suburbs. You might have a little garden and a few chickens, if that. But you need to start developing your property, looking at what you got. Forget about moving. A lot of you can't move. I understand it. Look at what you got. How can I sustain myself on this little piece of property I have? Forget about the hordes coming across your fence line. Forget that right now. We'll deal with that later. Right now we got to get that property set up to sustain yourself during the next Great Depression. That's what I truly believe is coming. This is priority one, not the zombies coming over the wire. Your location. Hopefully it's a good location, or even better, a great location. But if you are definitely in a good location, now if you're in the city in an apartment building, it'll be hard to sustain yourself there. You can do things though. If you have a balcony, start growing just a few things. It's not, oh wow, I only got 12 tomatoes this year. What it is the knowledge that, hey, my tomatoes got a disease. I figured out what disease. I treated it naturally, or I used a chemical. The tomatoes don't grow good in this soil. I need to switch next year. That's what I want you to learn. 12 tomatoes coming off a tomato plant is no big deal. I want you to learn. I want you to get encouraged. That's why you plant a couple tomato plants. That's why you plant whatever else you can in a small space. It's the knowledge of growing it. So when the crap hits the fan, it's not like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. You're like, I can handle this. Last year, I grew 3 tomato plants. The year before that, I only grew 1. This year, I'm going to go 6. So, whatever it is, good or a great location. You might be out in the country, but you're not really got a homestead. You have a house out in the country with a garage. But it's in a good, low population density. That's what you're looking for. You don't want to be jammed up against everyone. People are going to say, well, people that live in the cities do better in an economic collapse. Yes and no, and I'm not going to, that's a whole separate video. A whole separate video. You, in your head, sit down with your wife, sit down with your family and say, how can I develop this piece of property to sustain me in an economic collapse? That's all you're planning on doing. No zombies going over the wire. Look at your property. If you have a basement, that's huge. our goal in the back of our head is, yes, prepare for us. But it's also prepare for family members, even your own kids that aren't prepared, friends, so you can bring and take someone in. It's important because you're going to need the manpower. And guess what? These people right here might lose their house. They might not be able to pay their rent. They might not be able to pay their mortgage coming up. And I'm going to talk about this later, but kindness, love, and compassion. The Bible doesn't say in an SHTF or in a depression you don't have to show kindness, love, and compassion. This is when you need to show it, when people are hurting the most. So look at your house. If you have a basement, that's cool. Our goal is to take in another family. Maybe it's just a man and a wife, is to take them in, but not really get them into your house. You don't want them in your house. When you have company over, it's great for a day or two or three or four, but after like the fifth and sixth day, it's like, man, I can't wait till the relatives leave. They need to leave now. I want my life back together. That's what's going to be in a stressful situation during the economic depression. Plus, if those relatives move in, they probably won't be going to see local attractions that they want to see in your area. They'll be staying at your house. If they move in a collapse, they probably won't have a job to go to. So you're going to see them 24/7, which will cause more stress. So you need to plan now. You need to think now. How can I take in my aunt and uncle? How can I take in my cousin and his wife? Or you might not have anyone in particular in mind. You have no one in mind. But it might come to a situation where all of a sudden, and maybe somebody at church, we go into a collapse, and somebody at church says, man, I'm losing my house, I have to be out tomorrow. And you can say, bang, the Lord's led it on my heart to prepare to take them in. Yeah, it's a two-edged sword going through. One side helps them, the other side helps you. Because you're going to need help. You might keep your job during a collapse. We might be reduced, but it'd be nice when you leave that another man and another woman is there to watch your stuff. Especially if you have a wife or small kids. You will want that. Study collapses, study civil wars throughout the ages. The crime rate goes sky high. During the Civil War in this area, it was total lawlessness at a point. Total lawlessness. You had to protect everything. You had to protect them from the Union soldiers stealing it. You had to protect it from hungry Confederate soldiers stealing it. If you had a pig, you better guard it with your life. You better hide it in the hollow way back in the woods so no one finds your hog. So what your plan is, look at your property. We're going to look at first water, food, storage, and security. Rain catchment. You got to have a rain catchment. Do not rely on your well. Do not rely on public water. Don't rely on that river that's a quarter mile away. I would hate to walk a quarter mile off my safe property to get water and carry it back. If I had to, I would do it. Rain catchment. Very affordable now. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be the coolest thing out there. It's got to collect water, put it in a tank, keep it in the shade, keep it covered so algae don't grow. You take that water out and you put it through a monolithic filter, a $30 filter, your Berkey, a $200 filter, whatever it takes to get clean water for you. You might not have that water that you can just turn the faucet on and you have pressurized water. Doesn't matter. If you got clean water and you got enough water to wash up and do dishes, that's what you're looking for. Food. You got to put food back for your family, but then you got to start thinking. Because I haven't found anyone to come in that's going to be a prepper, that's prepared, that's going to bring their loads of food. I'm going to have to set more food back for family, friends, and kids. It's going to cost you more. Now, it can be rice and beans and oatmeal. Put wheat back to make a cracker or tortilla. My wife needs to do a video on her tortillas. They taste unbelievable, and they're made with just basic ingredients that all preppers should stockpile. Storage. You need to look at storage, because if you increase your food and your water storage, you're going to need more storage. Plus, if someone moves in, hypothetically, a collapse happens, an economic collapse happens, they're going to have things they want to store. They're not going to leave it in their house if it's paid for. So if you have a place to store some of their better valuables, thinking, if it was an economic collapse, would you like to give up all your furniture? if they're paid for, no. You'd like a place to store it. Now, you might have to get rid of some of the cheaper stuff you have. You might got to get rid of that. But the more expensive stuff you have that's paid for, that's your wealth. Forget to think about, oh, my bank account. That's wealth also. But in economic and depression, your wealth is going to be things you have, tools, things that you can try to fix things, make money out. So you need more storage, because those people don't want to dump all their possessions because you don't have the storage. They might have to if you don't have the storage for them. You need to look at security. Now, security, yes, for just increase of crime, not security. I don't want you to even think about the zombies coming over the wire. I don't want you to think about, oh my gosh, I have to protect my stuff 24 hours a day because there's just hordes of people. Eventually, if this happens, it might go in that direction. I don't know the time frame of the collapse when the dollar is worthless and Walmart's not even open, to the point of people coming over your wire to steal things. There are going to be a lot of, the petty crime is going to increase drastically, especially if you have a chicken coop with a big old garden planted outside. People will want to steal your food. So if you fail right now to find people and preppers, it's going to cost you more work now, and it's going to cost you more money now, but it's going to be necessary. You want as many people that you trust at your location. So when you're out there looking for preppers and you can't find any, you got to do the next best thing. Look for honest, hardworking people that you trust your life with. It's going to be hard. Look at your church. Look at, different organizations you're in. Look at your friends. Now, your friend might be in a great location. He might be 3 miles up the road, and he's in a good location. You're in a good location. Your house is paid for. He still owes $100,000 or $200,000. A collapse happens. He might not be able to keep his house. Don't plan on saying, well, the collapse is going to be so bad, no one's going to come get my house. That could be the case, but I don't think so. Bankers always win. Bankers always have money to hire guns. So don't think, oh, it's going to be so bad, no one's going to come after my house. If your house is a huge amount of it's paid for and you got a lot of equity, they're probably going to come for your house first compared to the guy that owes a ton of money on it. Bankers will want to get something for their money they loaned you for that house. And they might be saying, well, dollar's not worth anything, but man, we got all this property and wealth out there in property. The bankers are going to say, let's get it all back, because one day things are going to stabilize and they're going to have resources. Kindness, love, and compassion. I've never read in the Bible where it goes out in it says, Prepper Dave, during SHTF, you do not have to show kindness, love, and compassion. It's put on hold until things stabilize. It pretty much says the opposite. When people are at their rock bottom, you better be there for them. Now, you got to be wise. Yes, be kind, but be wise. You have to know when to give out in a certain way. It might not be given out to people at your front gate when they come. It might be, that neighbor over there, that little old lady doesn't have food. So during the nighttime, you go over there with a little basket of goodies and put on her door. That is kindness. So, this question is just popping up. It must be on people's hearts, on people's minds. They can't find people, so forget that. Quit spinning your wheels. Prepare your location to take in these people, because it will benefit you, and it will definitely benefit them if they have no place to lay their heads at night. Thanks for watching.